All right, let's talk about building wealth, but maybe not in the way you're used to hearing about it. We're going to dive into a path that isn't about the flashy stuff or some get-rich-quick nonsense. It's about a quieter, much more powerful way to build something real, something that lasts. Let's get right into it.
You know the drill. You open up your phone and bam, it's just a fire hose of success. Supercars, fancy watches, insane vacations. It all looks so easy, so effortless. And, whether we admit it or not, seeing that all day, every day, well, it creates a certain kind of pressure, doesn't it?
And that leads us to the real question we have to ask ourselves. Is this constant need to look like you're winning actually stopping you from, actually winning? The answer is probably yes, and it's a huge deal.
So let's talk about the first major roadblock here, what I like to call the instant gratification trap. It's that feeling that the second you get a little bit of money, you have to prove it, you have to spend it. But that single impulse can be the biggest anchor holding your financial future down.
This right here breaks it down perfectly. On one side, you have the illusion of success. It's all about showing off, spending your money as soon as you get it. But on the other side, you have the reality of success. And what's that look like? It's quiet. It's private. It's about reinvesting in yourself and letting your money work for you behind the scenes. The illusion is loud, but the reality is where the real wealth is built.
So let's pull back the curtain, right? Let's talk about that reality. What is the actual nuts and bolts path to wealth? What's really happening behind the scenes when nobody's watching?
And here it is. This is the whole secret. Real progress, the kind that changes your life, it happens in private. It's the result of all those boring, consistent, unglamorous hours you put in. The big public wins you see other people having, that's just the tiny tip of the iceberg. Underneath is a massive foundation of work that nobody ever saw or applauded.
So how do you actually build that foundation? It really comes down to this incredibly simple but powerful cycle. Step 1, you earn money. But then, and this is the crucial part, instead of spending it, you go to step 2, you reinvest it. And that reinvestment, that's what fuels step 3, real compounding growth. This isn't just a straight line, it's a loop. You just keep running this play over and over again.
Okay, so that reinvest step is obviously the magic ingredient. But what does that actually mean? If you're not supposed to be buying stuff, where does the money go? Let's break down the kinds of investments that actually move the needle.
Look, instead of buying things that lose value the second you own them, you pour your money into assets that are going to make you more money in the future. You put it back into your business so it can get bigger and better. You invest in yourself, learning new skills, gaining knowledge, so you become more valuable. And this last one is huge. You can use money to buy back your own time, maybe by hiring someone to help. That frees you up to focus on the big stuff. These are the levers that create real momentum.
And please, never, ever forget this, especially when you're just starting out. The absolute best return on investment you will ever get is from investing in yourself. A course, a book, a mentor, those things build your number one asset, you.
Okay, so you're ready to start earning and reinvesting. But how you start is everything. This isn't about betting the farm on some crazy idea. No, it's about starting smart. And it's about prioritizing one thing above absolutely everything else, and that's cash flow. Just take a look at this comparison. On one side, you've got the big, high-risk venture. It takes a ton of money to start, it could be ages before you see a single dollar, and yeah, the risk of it failing is super high. Now look at the other side, a low-risk side hustle. It costs almost nothing to start, it can bring in cash pretty quickly, and if it fails, so what? You learn and you move on. For almost everyone, the path on the right is the smarter way to get in the game. And this is why everyone says cash flow is king. You know, having a business that's worth $1 million on paper is meaningless if you have no actual money coming in. That consistent, reliable income, that's what gives you freedom. That's what gives you the capital to keep reinvesting. It's the fuel for the whole engine. And you've got to remember, the world is different now. The old playbook of just getting one job and staying there for 40 years, that's not the only way anymore. You have the power to create your own blueprint, to use all these new opportunities to build the life you actually want, completely on your own terms.
All of these tactics, they're really part of something bigger, because beyond the how-to, real, sustainable wealth is built on a specific mindset. It's about playing the long game. It's about shifting your entire philosophy away from short-term wins and toward creating long-term value.
You know, a subtle but really powerful piece of this is your environment. I'm not saying you have to spend a ton of money, but just deliberately putting yourself in places that inspire you, working from a nice hotel lobby for an afternoon or a cool coffee shop. It can actually change what you think is possible for yourself. It raises your standards.
And that kind of thinking leads us to this incredibly important idea, the difference between price and cost. See, price is just what you pay today. It's the number on the sticker. But cost is the total expense of that decision over its entire lifetime. Hiring the cheapest person might feel like a win, but if they do bad work, the cost is enormous.
This is the mantra. Seriously, whether you're buying a piece of software, hiring someone, or investing in a course, you have to train your brain to look right past that initial price and ask, what is the long-term value here? Making that one little shift in how you think, it can change everything for you.
So, let's just quickly wrap up the core ideas here. Number 1, delayed gratification is a superpower. You have to master it. 2, real progress is almost always private. 3, you are your greatest asset, so reinvest in yourself constantly. 4, make generating cash flow your absolute obsession. And finally, number 5, always think about long-term value, not the short-term price tag.
And that leaves us with one final thought. The big question isn't about what fancy thing you can go out and buy. The real question is this: based on everything we just talked about, what is one real, tangible investment you can make in yourself, in your skills, in your knowledge this week?